You guys can all be seated. Hey everyone, welcome to the class of 2024's graduation. Let's give a hand for our graduates. We're so excited that everyone could be here today, and we would like to acknowledge all of the hard work and sacrifice that goes into putting on this event. First off, SBI has asked that I take a picture of the graduates for the newspaper, so everyone smile. Okay, good work everyone. So first on the program, we are going to hear from our student body president, Malachi Patterson. Next, we will be fortunate to hear from our valedictorians, Tanner Ricks and Anna Altabel. Following their remarks, we will hear from our salutatorian, Maggie Daniel, and then our honor students, Elizabeth Heiner and Kel Klinger. Mr. Presh.
Good evening, family, friends, administrators, faculty, and especially my fellow graduates of the class of 2024. It has been a wild years here at Star Valley High. It started out with a 5-month-long summer break due to COVID, which I quite enjoyed. We came to school that first year wearing masks, which no one really even wore, and social distancing, which also wasn't followed. We went into that year thinking that it would last forever, but now, 4 short years later, we sit here getting ready to go on to the next stages of our lives. Let us remember the good things that we were able to accomplish, not only on the field or the court, but also on the stage and in the classroom. As we leave, let us not only focus on our 4 years of success, but better the success we had in our senior year. We earned 4 state championships in football, boys cross country, jazz dance, and girls wrestling. We then got superiors in choir, marching band, and as we remember this, may we be able to carry this excellence into the future. As we go out into the world, it will be filled with many challenges and also successes. Always remember what lessons we learned from our friends, and staff that showed us the way to be successful. We faced many challenges that may have ended in success, but also failure. Do not let failure scare us, as the saying goes. Failure is the best teacher. Without failure, there wouldn't be success. And when we do fail, it makes success so much sweeter. But as I know all of you, failure is not an option. And that's what makes this class so unique. As we graduate here tonight, remember to ponder often the cherishable memories that we have set in place for future generations. We set the bar at a standard that will guide the future generations, whether it be future students or even your own kids, to similar successes. Class of 2024, as we go our separate ways, let's remember it all. And let us always remember, no matter what, that we are part of a great Braves family with great traditions. Thank you.
In 1970, a British mathematician by the name of John Conway designed a computer game. This game is played on a 2-day grid consisting of slots or cells that are either alive or dead, and its 4 rules are simple. 1. If a cell has less than 2 living neighbors, then it dies. 2. If a cell has 2 to 3 living neighbors, then it will survive. 3. If a cell has more than 3 neighbors, then it dies. And 4. If a cell has 3 living neighbors, then it becomes alive. The game progresses going through moments, each one checking these 4 conditions for hundreds of cells. Modeling the game, I'd like to offer 4 strategies of success for our game of life. The first rule is perspective. The game doesn't make a lot of sense when it's moving slow. All of the cells stay relatively close and just doing very little. When we speed it up, though, we can see something mesmerizing. Similarly, in life, few things make sense. We can only see a few of the steps. Each takes hundreds of steps for our goals, achievements, or graduation to go from the abstract imaginings of sixth graders to us sitting here today. Having perspective and imagination to build our future is essential to the rapidly changing age we live in. The second rule is discipline. Part of developing our future is building discipline. In the game, the player can't change anything after the press play, but they are able to control the initial setup of the board. Being able to acknowledge what you can and can't control allows you to put your efforts where it matters and away from what doesn't. John Locke described this when he said, "What worries you, masters you." If we are worried about the 8 million things that our world is constantly bringing to our attention, we will never accomplish anything. But if we are willing to look away from the sensational headlines, beauty fads, or video games, we are able to look at the world we actually live in. The people we pass by every day, the friends we've known for years, and our families. These are what shape us. The third rule is relationships. One of the best ways to combat things that worries us is being a good friend. Being able to look outward disconnects us from the things we're facing. It also helps us face the challenges. In the game, a cell was only able to stay on the board if it had neighbors, and we're much the same way. Shakespeare surmised, "A friend is one that knows you as you are, understands where you've been, accepts what you have become, and still gently allows you to grow." The fourth and final rule is to live in the moment. This rule is what gives meaning to all the rest. Without each frame, the game could not progress. Likewise, without each moment, we are guaranteed a very perfect perspective, because nothing changes. Without each moment, all of our efforts to build our future can't exist. Every hour we spent studying, practicing sports, and especially the times we failed, become worthless. Without each moment, our friendships couldn't develop. That inside joke from 5th grade, the birthdays, and the late nights with friends. None of it would exist without having each and every moment. When we take this for granted, we forget that the smallest things in the smallest moments can change everything. Moments are everything. So what do we do? A very apt answer to this question was given by Mahatma Gandhi. Carefully watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Manage and watch your words, for they will become your actions. Consider and judge your actions, for they have become your habits. Acknowledge and watch your habits, for they shall become your values. Understand and embrace your values, for they become your destiny. It's the simplest things. Making slight adjustments to what we do every day, we will be able to eventually change our lives. Life is fast. To survive, we must balance perspective while we live in the moment, be disciplined in our efforts, and surround ourselves with people that can help us on the journey. We can accomplish our goals. We're here, aren't we? So as we finish up this era of our lives, take a moment. Sit and enjoy the fact that we've made it. Celebrate the moments that led us here to graduation. Then we can begin to look forward. Because as Winston Churchill said, now this is not the end. This is not even the beginning of the end, but perhaps the end of the beginning. I hope you all have one heck of a ride. Thank you, and go Braves.
If you guys can hear me. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you the Star Valley High School class of 2024. Today we not only celebrate an incredible milestone, but we also establish the beginning of countless promising futures. And to my classmates, I hope you're all incredibly proud of yourselves, because at the end of the day, you determined your success on this stage today. As a class speaker, I feel obliged to talk about the memories we've created or the inside jokes we've shared. And trust me, I would love to sit up here and recount all the elementary weddings that we attended on the playground. Shout out to Asher and Yenna. You guys have been married 7 years. I'm not sure if you remember that. But today I would like to talk about one thing in particular. I want to talk about the one thing that truly unites us, yet the thing that we at times find hardest to stomach. It is the only experience that is absolutely inevitable. I want to talk about change. This reality has been enduringly instilled throughout our years, and we've never gone too long without hearing, change is inevitable, or just you wait. Things will be different one day. The years I've spent here have taught me, above all else, that change is inherent to nature. It dictates our seasons, it reshapes our landscapes, and in a more applicable sense, graduates us to new chapters of life. It is easy to suspect change to be a force of separation and loss, but that's not quite right. Change should be seen as a force of development. Not every change will be easy or desirable, but every change holds the promise of opportunity. Think about it. How many friends did you maybe drift away from all these years, but what new connections have you formed because of that? How many of us have the same hairstyles that we did freshman year, and how many of us are grateful that we don't? Maybe you moved here with your family, and though it was challenging, you have a perspective that you wouldn't have gained otherwise. And I know that change is not always easy. Sometimes it's painful, and life takes you off guard. But growing is not a comfortable process. The past, whether good or bad, imparts lessons to us regardless. The lesson is love those who are in your life while you still have them. And sometimes that lesson is don't park in the back of the school parking lot. Either way, change does not require you to abandon what you know now. It requires you to take these experiences to heart, step out of your comfort zone, and do what is waiting for you. At some point in life, it becomes essential to realize that everything is temporary in its own way. So, when you find yourself in a hard place, remind yourself that things will change, because this takes strength. But when you're also in a good place, remind yourself that things will change, because that takes wisdom. When you embrace the certainty of change, you are left with nothing but hope and gratitude. Now, I know I've definitely hit this time quota for my speech, so I'll end on this note. Today, we stand at the crossroads between what we know and what we don't. Some of us will continue our pursuits here in Star Valley, and some of us are going to end up on the opposite end of the globe. Regardless of where our endeavors take us, I know that we will all contribute great things to this world. And above all, I hope that each and every one of us, when faced with change, will learn to confront it like an old friend. Once again, congratulations to the class of 2024. Thank you.
You would think that after 4 years of speech and debate that I would be a lot better at this, but for some reason it's far more intimidating to speak in front of my peers than it is to speak in front of a bunch of strangers. I really am excited to be able to speak to you today, and I'd like to start with a quote from J.R.R. Tolkien. He profoundly said, "All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us." Throughout the last 4 years of high school, each and every one of us has spent our time making decision after decision. While they started out small, this entire last year has been full of big decisions, like choosing what on earth we want to do after we graduate. These small daily decisions became large, important decisions and have led us exactly to where we are now, which is graduating. Between what we've been taught by our families, our job, our education, and our extracurriculars, we've hopefully learned enough to start us on our journey out into the real world. It's a scary position to be in, facing the rest of your life, not knowing what is to come. But at the same time, it's so incredibly freeing. We are free to make our own decisions, choose our own paths, and branch out into places we've never been before. I'm sure very few of us are actually going to grow up to be a ballerina or an astronaut or a firefighter like we dreamed we would be when we were little, but we do get the freedom to choose what we really want to be. With this freedom, though, also comes trials. I know that every single one of us has faced a hard time in which something went horribly wrong, whether it's failing a test, missing an opportunity, or making a wrong choice. I know I can't even begin to scratch the surface on all the difficulties that each of us have faced, but I know that we can all relate and rely on one another because of our shared experiences. Even when we face setbacks and hardships, we are able to choose one thing, and that is how we want to react to them. We get to choose whether we want to look at a situation with a pessimistic attitude or a positive one. One of the most profound books that you can read is called A Man's Search for Meaning, which was written by a survivor of the Holocaust named Viktor Frankl. The book gives incredible insight into life, but one of Frankl's most famous quotes from it is, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." We all have been given the incredible opportunity to move forward from this point in our life and choose what we want to do next. We get to pick where we will go, who we're with, and how we live. But most importantly, we get to pick how we want to view the world. As we all move on to this next chapter of our lives, whether that's starting a job, going to college, serving a mission, or whatever it may be, I hope we can all remember that regardless of the hard times and challenges that we face, we can all choose to make this next step with a positive attitude and outlook on life. Our choices and actions define who we are, and our frame of mind determines our actions. Every step we make from this point on is reflective of the way that we have been raised and how we want our lives to be led. If we choose to move forward with the best possible outlook on life, we have the ability to remember that all of our life's circumstances are dependent on how we view them. All that we have to do is remember that we are in charge of our lives and we get to choose how we want to spend our time and view the world. It is my hope that we'll be able to move forward with the absolute peace of mind that no matter what is thrown at us, we'll be able to make the best of it. I'm incredibly grateful to be part of this graduating class, and I want to end by saying congratulations to the class of 2024. We will now have a musical number by the band.
assignments trying to understand chemistry or physics. When I look back at the time that I have spent in high school, I don't only see the coursework or the studying. I see the nights spent with friends, or the times wandering the halls during lunch, or the times of growing close to so many different people. There are so many people that have changed my life in the last 4 years. There are teachers that have taught me so many things, besides formulas and equations. There are people who have pushed me to grow and try new things. There are people who have stayed up late with me, encouraging me to keep on going. Thanks, Grandpa. There are people who have been there in the highs and lows. There are people who have been the ones to listen and the ones to offer help. High school would not have been the same without all these people. They are the people that have made it so that high school was a good experience. So when we look back on high school, let's not only remember our classes or the homework, let's remember the relationships that were discovered, strengthened, and grown. Let's remember all the people that have supported us on our journeys. Let us remember the value that this education holds and the great knowledge and skills that we have gained. Let us use these skills in our next chapter. Let us go on to do great things, and always remember where we came from and how much we have grown. So congratulations, class of 2024. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for the technical difficulties. We're going to take a 5-minute pause and go to Plan C. So just be patient. We will get there, I promise.
Test, test. Test, test.
right, thank you for your patience. Mr. Klinger, we'll go to you.
That is a man.
Class of 2024. Giving a speech at graduation was one of the privileges granted to me as an honor student. Now, for those of you who don't know, an honor student means that I wasn't smart enough to be valedictorian, but I was smart enough to realize the reasons why I'm not. It wasn't because I wasn't smart enough or I didn't get good enough grades, but rather that an extra hour of fishing sounded a lot better than another science credit. Sorry, Mom. But with that being said, before this speech is over, graduation ends, and all of us graduates hop in our cars with our lead feet, hoping to never look back, I urge you for just a moment to turn around and remember it all. Remember the late nights spent poring over textbooks and the early mornings rushing to class. Remember the friendships that you made through shared challenges here. Remember the moments where you weren't sure if you had what it took, and then the moments where you proved to yourself that you did. Remember all the near misses and then hits thanks to the student parking lot. Remember all the assemblies student council put on for us, or at least the ones that we didn't all skip. And remember the constant cat and mouse played with the tech guys trying to keep games on our computers. But beyond the academic experiences and accomplishments, remember the lessons learned outside the classroom. Remember the mentors who guided you, and the friends who supported you, and the family who stood by you through it all, and all of their sacrifices so that we could be here today, ready to embark on the next stage of our journey. The world is an impossibly big and scary place, and there will be moments in our lives that are hard, but we have done hard things, and we can do hard things. I know it's intimidating to look down the barrel of life and see all the times we will inevitably be knocked down. But remember the times we've gotten up before and know that we can do it again. High school has prepared us for whatever the world may throw our way and has shaped us into the individuals we are today, ready to take this next step. And as we do, I encourage you to take it and experience the world in the rawest form possible. Look at it through your own two eyes and not through cameras and screens. Use your natural intelligence over that of artificial and AI. The world awaits and the world needs us after all, and I have no doubt that we will make our impacts on it big and small. Graduates and class of 2024, take a look around you one last time, remember it all, and let's take this next step. Thank you.
So cute.
Our program will go as follows. We will first have our main speaker, Kelly Fulmer, and then a song by one Jonathan Bueller, followed by some words by Mr. Robert Erickson, and then the presentation of the graduates, and then the presentations of the honor diplomas, followed by the regular diplomas, and then the tassel presentation by Jacob Knighton, and the closing remarks by Josie Foster. I wanted to give a quick introduction to our main speaker, Mr. Kelly Fulmer. You guys all know him, he's a great guy. He's alumni for Star Valley High School. He is class of 1988, after which he went to get his degree at University of Wyoming. His graduate degree he got at Utah State University. He then came back to Star Valley and has been teaching here since 1995, where he's picked up the responsibilities of not only an English teacher, but also the editors for both the yearbook and the newspaper, as well as the golf coach, and he also helps with detention every once in a while. He still lives in Star Valley with his wife of 32 years and his 4 children. Let's give it up for Kelly Fulmer.
glad that was off because I said 19, not 2000. I just went back a decade. Good evening, class of 2024. I'm not at all pleased to be speaking at this event tonight, but I am very pleased to be speaking with you one last time. To those of you that I have had the pleasure to teach over the years, it has been that, a very distinct pleasure. To those of you that I haven't taught, I regret the fact that I haven't been able to get to know you better. In Kurt Vonnegut's novel Slaughterhouse-Five, the main character, Billy Pilgrim, becomes unstuck in time, and he finds himself on the alien planet of Tralfamador. There he is speaking with one of the natives, and the native asks him, "Have you ever seen a bug in amber?" It turns out that Billy has seen a bug in amber. The native then says to him, "We are all stuck in moments in time like bugs in amber." In many ways, I've been a bug stuck in the amber of Star Valley High School for 30 years. Now that's not a bad thing, but it seems like I'm suffering from a permanent case of arrested development. Through all of these years and all of these assignments, you seniors have changed very little. You're all likable, you're fun, you're smart, you're hardworking, you're reliable. I liked you 30 years ago, and I think I like you better now. I don't know what you see when you look at me, but when I look at you, I see colleagues. I see people who make me laugh, who challenge me, who make me think, who keep me young at heart anyway. I wasn't much older than you when I began my teaching career, and so in a way I've grown up in my classroom, and it's been a great life spending time with astonishingly cool people like you. Over that time, I really haven't taught a lot of things, but I've taught them many times and in many different ways. I have one life lesson I'd like to share with you, a lesson that I'm still learning, in fact. In 1992, my wife Gina and I moved into an old camp trailer behind my parents' house. We were home for the summer working on a break from college, and all it did was rain that summer. We spent a lot of time out of the rain sitting in the trailer watching old movies on a VCR and an 18-inch color television. One of the movies we watched was the series of movies Anne of Green Gables. Now, I didn't want to watch these. There's not a lot of action or violence on Prince Edward Island, but my wife Gina convinced me to watch them, and I'm glad she did. Because when I heard Anne Shirley say, "It's not what the world holds for you, it's what you bring into it," I knew I had heard a piece of timeless wisdom that would help me for the rest of my life. I don't know of any happy, content, or successful people who don't live by that maxim in one way or another, knowingly or unknowingly. So how does one go about living one's life in a way that reflects Anne's declaration? Let me suggest 3 ways. First, you must live your life deliberately. You've all had those days where you get home at the end of the day and you flop yourself down in a chair and you feel like a pinball that's been banged around for 10 hours. No determinacy, just reaction. Now, we can't always control the things that happen to us during a day or the circumstances, but one thing we can absolutely control is the way that we respond to those things. A character who learned this a little bit too late in life came from Frank Herbert's great novel, Dune. Yeah, I went there, Josie. It was a character named Duke Leto Atreides. He had spent his life in power and in influence and wealth and privilege, and he found himself at the end of his life in the hands of his enemies. One of his final thoughts before he came to the end of his life was not of all the important things he'd done, his important accomplishments, the things he'd achieved, the power meetings he'd been in. Instead, the one thing that occurred to him was an afternoon he spent with his son flying a kite. It struck him in such a way that he had a moment of reflection. And he said, there are days that the flesh shapes, and there are flesh that the day shapes. And when you look back on life, you're going to remember the days that you shaped, not the days that shaped you. In other words, you need to live life, not let life live you. Secondly, please respect other people and their feelings and their rights when you're making your decisions. An 18th century philosopher, Immanuel Kant, essentially said that if you keep other people in mind and their rights and feelings when you're making any ethical or moral decisions, you will have lived a decent life. I remember years ago on a family trip in Grays River getting wood with my family when I threw a Twinkie wrapper out of the window. My mom saw me do this, and she asked me a question that she'd leveled at me before, and my parents asked me many times after that moment, but she said, "Hey, what if everybody did that?" Now that thought stuck with me, and I had time to think about it because they stopped the truck and made me get out and go find the wrapper and pick it up. And I've thought about it a lot since. What if everybody threw something out of the window? Conversely, what if everybody picked something up? When pondering an action in your life, whether you want to decide what to do or what to say, ask yourself, what if everybody did this? If you use that rule of thumb, you'll make some pretty good decisions in your life. Third, find joy and appreciation in as many things as possible. In 1930, the psychologist Bertrand Russell wrote a book called The Conquest of Happiness. He essentially said that your ability and your capacity for joy and happiness increases with the number of things you find interest and joy in. Several years ago, I was walking down the hall of the high school looking out of the glass doors, and I watched a little girl getting out of her car and walking away from her mother. She was coming to the school's preschool that is run by our childhood development department. The little girl walked maybe 10 or 15 feet, and then she turned around and started to walk back towards the parking lot. I became a little concerned because I realized her mother had already driven away. But I didn't have to be concerned very long because the little girl walked into the parking lot and jumped feet first into a mud puddle. After making a very large splash, she turned around and walked back towards the high school to her preschool class. This little girl's happiness had relied upon very little. It didn't rely on money or opportunity or circumstance or other people. She was able to find joy in something that other people would either ignore or disdain. If you can go through your life and find joy in as many things as possible and in the simplest things possible, you will be living a good life. My young friends, your life before you is going to be vast and varied. Some of you are going to find wealth, some of you are not. Some of you are going to enjoy health, and some of you are not. Some of you are going to be lucky in love, and some of you are not. But whatever life holds for you, if you try to live in the ways I'm talking about, you will have lived a life that is full and that you've directed and that you will find joyful. You will find contentment with what you have, with whatever life brings you. Thank you. Check.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every byway, and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all and I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think that I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he is not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took my blows and did it my way. Yes, it was my way.
Seniors, take it all in. You're an awesome class. It's been an awesome experience. Based on the average lifespan, 25% of your book has just been written. In the sports terminology, the first quarter buzzer just sounded. You're 17, 18 years in. Let's take a look back so we can go forward. Do you remember walking off that bus the very first day on your way to your first day of school as a kindergartner? How big that building appeared? You met your classmates and maybe your best friend for the first time. How careful and focused you were carrying the cafeteria tray, trying not to drop it. How hard it was to open that first carton of milk. Did you ask your teacher for help? How awesome the playground was, the web, the spinning donut, and in the springtime, donut soup took about 1 minute. What the heck happened? Because in high school, they're exponentially longer. Guys, you ate lunch together in a cafeteria, and you began to learn student leadership and took turns helping clean the cafeteria. And at the end of those 4 years, you were pretty sure your teacher still loved you. You transitioned to middle school. You cried because summer was over. You didn't know what to wear. You were nervous about memorizing that locker combination and if it would ever open. Do you remember your first attempt and slam that locker door on you? Or did you carry your bags in a book for a while? Or your books in a bag? You met the kids from the other end of the valley. Your class size doubled. You competed for sports. You had 6 different teachers, 6 different classrooms, passing times, and were introduced to tardies. With tardies came excuses, and your creativity and originality are duly noted. You went to Riff, and there was a game you played that if you got out, you went sat in the middle, and you could go sit by your crush, and if you were really bold, you would let your pinkies touch. You had awkward day dances. On any given day, you were happy, sad, angry, and you did not know why. You survived, and so did your teachers. And at the end of those 2 years, you were somewhat confident that some of your teachers still liked you. You came to high school. You were given choices, open campus, freedom, pick your schedule. You had formals and day dates. You had your choice of sports, activities, and clubs and found a group where you belonged. You experimented with creative parking patterns that were awesome and awe-inspiring to both teachers and law enforcement. You began to understand the fact that school successes were a source of pride for our community. Homecoming, the musical, state championships, superior ratings, concert shows were all packed by supporting community members. You were a part of something bigger than yourself. Through it all, you learned, or we hope you learned, resilience and grit, consequences, responsibilities, and to trust the process. How to work hard and give your best effort with integrity. You learned how to love, laugh, forgive, forget, and play. You learned how to hustle and spin a yarn. You learned that trust, love, and commitment creates a culture. Your group became Ohana, or your family. You learned that tradition never graduates, and what it means to be a brave. You've taken your last walk out of this building as a student. That's a look back. Let's look forward. What's next? The future, the unknown, the boundaries not yet crossed, the challenges not yet met, and the potential not yet realized. It's all unwritten. It's just waiting for you. I have one question you need to ask yourself. What is success to me? Continue to ask that question. How are you prosperous? What is your relevance? Your answer to that question may change over time. But please don't spend any time that antagonizes your character. Life is not a popularity contest. Be brave, take the hill, but define success for you first. Why define it? Because when you reach at the top of the ladder, you don't want to find out the ladder's been leaning against the wrong building the entire time. You've experienced a lot. You're ready to move on. Just like that carton of milk, there's going to be things in your life that looks hard and challenging. Remember, just jump in. Just do it. Accept the challenge, take the risks, look back and smile at your unwarranted fears. It's just another carton of milk when you look back in the time. I'd advise you to do use the 4 R's to master the art of living. Do the right thing at the right time and for the right reason. And when things screw up, be resilient. Never give up. Never quit. Show your grit. Congratulations, 2024. I love you guys. I wish you the best. Take a 0.5 on the way out and post it to your Vista. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Erickson. Thank you to the speakers that have presented tonight. I appreciate the effort and the time that you put into that. At this time, we'd like to thank our Board of Education, Chairman Darnell Simpson, and board members Homer Bennett, Connie Day, Lynn Call, Dave Jenkins, Len Johnson, Jed Johnson, Superintendent Matt Erickson, Directors Jason Horsley and Corey Hokinson, also our Director of Special Services, Nathan Westcott, and our Director of Finances, J.C. Inskeep. At this time, it's my honor and privilege to present the graduates. Superintendent Erickson, Lincoln County School District Number 2 Board of Trustees. As principal of Star Valley High School, I certify that every student in this class who is receiving a diploma has met the graduation requirements of Lincoln County School District Number 2. Chairman Simpson, it is my pleasure to present to you the class of 2024. Tonight, we have placed an additional chair with the graduates This chair contains a cap and a gown representing former classmates who started this journey with us, but unfortunately were not able to be here tonight. On behalf of the class of 2024, please join me in a moment of remembrance and silence for these classmates that are no longer with us.
Is that the one that says reserved?
Thank you very much. Could we please have Cassandra and Justin Hinks please come forward? On behalf of the class of 2024, we'd like to present you this honorary diploma for those that couldn't be here today. At this time, we'd like to turn the time over to our board member, Homer Bennett. And as he is making his way up, I'd just like to talk a little bit. Mr. Bennett is a former graduate of the University of Wyoming. He taught at Star Valley High School for many years, taught in our History and Social Studies department, certainly had a seat in the old high school. I had the opportunity to be a senior the first year that Mr. Bennett showed up on campus. Immediately, he truly was a legend. After he taught for many years at Star Valley High School, he became the athletic director and then the principal. Please join me in a round of applause for Mr. Homer Bennett.
Principal Hatterley, Star Valley High School parents, and class of 2024. I want to congratulate you on this occasion and tell you how honored I am to be here to celebrate this occasion with you tonight. Class of 2024, this is indeed a very special time for you and a stepping stone to the next phase of your lives. But it's just that, a stepping stone. While attending schools at Lincoln County School District Number 2 and Star Valley High School in particular, you have worked with teachers, staff, and administrators who have been committed to preparing you for the next steps you will take. Public schools in America have two main missions. First, they serve to educate us in what it takes for us to be productive citizens in our society, with a duty to respect and protect the institutions and traditions that have made us the greatest democratic republic in history. Second, they serve to unify us all as citizens of this great nation by teaching us an appreciation for the ideals and values expressed in our founding documents. I believe the education you've received in this school district has fulfilled these missions. This community, this school, these friends, and each of your families have together formed who you are at this point in your lives. As you move forward, you will continue to grow into the people you will eventually become in old age. Take it from me. When you are challenged by the world you are entering, I encourage you to fall back on the education you received here, along with the values of your families and the character of your community, to make the good decisions necessary for you to become a successful, contributing citizen of our great nation. Congratulations to you and your families, and good luck. Principal Hatterley, as a representative of Lincoln County School District Number 2 Board of Trustees, I proudly accept this class of 2024 Star Valley High School graduating seniors.
Okay, graduates, just like we practiced this morning, here we go. We're going to stand and then we're going to go back here behind the screen. Everybody on 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, head on back there.
Ashton Spencer Aiken. Blake Dean Aldis. Emma Renee Aldefer. Jesus Allred. Malia Terry Allred. Emilitzi Almanza. Anna Kathleen Altabell. Caitlin Elizabeth Anderson. Shay Andrews. Weston Solomon Angel. Marin Elizabeth Arbizu. Willow Ada Irene Allman. Colin Allen Bassett. Bryson Boyd Baxter. James Bowers. Adam Bridger Bringhurst. Delancey K. Brogue. Logan R. Maurer. Jonathan Beret Bueller. Jake Ryan Burchard. Cal D. Burke. Caleb Ty Bird. Gavin Roger Kazare. Spencer L. Chadwick. Ephraim Anthony Christiansen. Michaela Bryn Christensen. Cale M. Klinger. Megan M. Coates. Sheridan Coles. Grace Mackenzie Collins. Daisy Lynn Combs. Taylor K. Cram. Jaden Ivan Crook. Jordan Sebastian Kubas. Caitlin Nicole Dandridge. Maggie Rose Daniel. North Jackson Davis. McKady Lee Draney. Samuel Kelly Draney. Justice Wade Dudley. Archer John Dugan. Kylie Rose Duggar. Alexis Kelly Dunn. Kenley Rose Englehart. Bailey D. Erickson. Morgan Raylyn Erickson. Sadie Amelia Erickson. Trinity Anne Marie Flemma. Toby Arvid Fletcher.